So the time has come, it's the end of an era. I'm selling the Canon 70D. For those avid Casey fans, you'll know exactly what the Canon 70D is. It's a mid-spec SLR, primarily used with vloggers back in the day. Since then, they've brought out iterations after iterations. There's been the 80D and then now the 90D, and then people have now moved on to the Canon EOS R. I started out with this initially, so I started my business, I started my filmmaking career with this camera. It came with just a kit lens. So it comes with the 18 to 55 kit lens out of the box, but that's a little bit too, because it's got a cropped sensor. So these 70Ds have got a cropped mirrored sensor. The actual sort of 18 to 55mm that it comes with, it's actually sort of a lot narrower than what it states. So it's like 1.6 times crop on it. So I went out and bought the 10x18 Canon lens for vlogging. So it's a wide lens, and obviously it's got the flip out LCD screen, so you can do the vlogging. This camera has made me a lot of money over the years. This camera's probably racked up well over 1 million views on YouTube. This is the camera that I used for the biker getting run over. It went viral, it did millions of views on Facebook and Instagram, and I think it's done nearly 800,000 views on YouTube. I'm making this video because I'm actually selling this camera. So although it's probably, I dare say 5-6 years old, it still very much like holds its own with the cameras of today. It doesn't do slow motion, it only shoots in HD. But if you're wanting to go from just making videos on your phone to up the production value a little bit and get a camera where you can switch the lenses out and start experimenting, these are a very affordable camera to buy, and it still holds its own today. The reason I think that mobile phones are never going to replace SLR cameras for filmmaking or video cameras is the fact that we can actually change the lenses. So you've got options here. I've actually got more lenses that I'll be selling with it. I've got a 50mm lens and a zoom lens. The flexibility of being able to switch between the camera lenses is massive for different compositions of shots. Obviously, if you've got a 50mm prime, you get a nice blurred background. It's good for photography. This is an all-rounder. It can do everything. Amazing photography. The color profile that comes out of it is unbelievable, straight out of the box. I can do a little bit of tweaking, put a bit more saturation in it, whatever you want to do, and you get a really good video output. Flip out LCD screen for vlogging so you can see what's going on, and Canon's famous autofocus, it never ever failed me, it never skipped a beat. It is unbelievable. Since using this, I've switched over to Sony, so I'm currently shooting on the Sony a7 III, much more expensive camera. The setup alone that we're looking at now is probably around the £3,500 mark with the lens that I've got on there. If you are considering getting into video and filmmaking, you saw my last video on lighting. The next step up would be getting yourself an SLR camera. If you can find a 70D, an 80D, a 90D, or if you've got enough money and you can go up to the EOS R, I highly recommend it. It starts getting a little bit trickier when you start using Sony cameras because they are not easy to use. When I first got the Sony camera, the a7 III, I didn't know how to work through the menus. There's just so much more to look at. It's ridiculous. Whereas these are really user friendly and they're definitely a good beginner camera. The next thing you're going to need is a decent tripod, especially if you're vlogging. I obviously went for the Jobby Gorilla Pod. It gets some stick. They've come down considerably in price. When I first bought this, it was probably well close to £150, I think. Now I think you can pick them up for like 80 or 90 quid. It's super flexible. They do have a bit of problem with falling over, but as long as you get it secure, you're good. It's got an adjustable ball head. It's pretty bulletproof, and then obviously for the standard vlogging setup, you can stick your camera on it, hold it out, and go full sort of Casey style on it, which you see most vloggers doing nowadays. Next thing you'll need is a road mic. I'll put a video of the road mic that I use on the screen. This makes a hell of a difference because people can forgive sort of bad video, they can forgive stuff going out of focus, but they can never forgive bad audio. So the next investment would be a decent microphone for your setup. Once you've got those three things in place, a decent SLR, a decent tripod, a good microphone, you're ready to start filming. It'll take your production value to another level, and again, if you can start investing in lighting, you'll get a way better product output than if you're just using your phone. There's a time and a place to use your phone, and don't get me wrong, I think that it's a valuable tool to have in your pocket, just if you need to capture something super quick, or if it's spur of the moment and you know it'll add to the storyline for when you're creating your videos for YouTube, get the shot. It doesn't matter what you're using or what you're taking it on. I just want to make this video really, it's a bit nostalgic. It means a lot to me, this camera, but fortunately it's going to a good place. A good friend of mine has recently opened a gym in Leeds, and they are wanting to go from creating vlogs and videos on their phones to up the production value, and I said, well, perfect, why not try the Canon 70D? It's good for him to get used to. It'll be good for him to start editing on like a prosumer editing suite such as Final Cut Pro or Adobe Rush or Adobe Premiere. They'll get them used to using different lenses for different shots and just up the production value. Again, they're also going to buy a new microphone, so I'm not selling the mic, I'm just selling the camera. But this has served me so well. This is what I started my career with, and no doubt in the future I'll probably buy it back off them just as a bit of a museum piece for myself. But yeah, so if you're looking at sort of starting video making and you're wondering where to start with which camera, I started with this. It still is very much a really good camera to use. So if you see any popping up on Facebook Marketplace, on eBay, you pick them up for a few £100. It's not that expensive. That with a couple £100 lighting and a microphone, and you've got a really good setup. Thanks for tuning in this week. I just wanted to make this video more for myself really, just to say this is a really good camera. I hope you guys can pick one up one day, and yeah, go out there, keep creating, and I'll see you next week.